Well, many Americans are hoping to meet goals for self-improvement and happiness this year. Yale professor Laurie Santos started teaching the class Psychology and the Good Life last January. I want to enroll.
Yeah.
It became the university's most popular course, no surprise, in person and online. 78,000 people from more than 168 countries have enrolled. She will teach a new session of her free online course called The Science of Well-Being. Laurie Santos is joining us now. Welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You.
Thanks for having me on the show.
This sounds like a fascinating class, and a lot of it is based around gratitude, and it's something that we stress, I know, during the holidays. What can we do to express gratitude and take it with us throughout the year?
Part of it is just realizing that gratitude is really important. You know, we have these gratitude journals and we hear buzzwords like gratitude, but we forget how powerful it can really be just to thank the people that we care about in our life. One of the interventions we do in class is called the gratitude letter, where you really just write down what you're thankful for to a person you haven't told. And research suggests that just the act of doing that, it takes 10-15 minutes, can boost your positive mood for over a month. And so these are like really powerful effects. Again, they get a lot of airtime, but we forget how powerful they can really be.
Well, because you start to focus on what you really do have in life instead of thinking about what I don't have, what I want. You start looking for the little, and it really, in life, it's the little things that really add up and make something very, very significant. But I've heard in your class that you say time, affluence, plus gratitude, plus social connections equals happiness.
Yeah, and these are the three things that we really teach students about. Yeah, so
yeah.
Time affluence is a really foreign concept, especially as we're coming out of the holiday season. It's just the act of having some free time. It's looking at that calendar and seeing big white blocks. Now, most of us don't have that naturally,
right.
but the New Year is an awesome time where we can build it in. Like, you can go to your calendar right now, sometime in January and February, and scribble in, these 3 hours, they're just mine, not putting anything in there. Yeah. And it can just be a powerful technique that when you roll up on that Wednesday, you're like, this is amazing, I have 3 hours free.
Yeah, and then send a memo to your boss and say,
exactly.
I've got those 3 hours free.
Exactly, you know, I've been planning it since, you know, but we forget that what productivity actually relies on not feeling so time famished. Like, even bosses should want their employees to have a few open hours, because those open hours can mean the difference between, you know, burning out hours later and just really feeling like, you know, you're fresh and you're
open hours every day, once a month, once a week. What do you mean?
Just more than you have now. You know, for some of us who have lots of open time, you know, we can get a lot of white time in there. You know, I'm a busy professor. You guys are busy folks. It might not be that much, but you know, even an hour can make a huge difference. One thing we did in the class was that I gifted students some time they didn't expect. So they came to class one day, just one random Tuesday, and I said, hey, you guys, today there's no class. You have an hour and a half free. And what was amazing is that even these Yale students, some of them were so affected by this. One of the students burst into tears. And she said this was the first free hour she's had all semester.
Wow.
We love you, Professor Santos.
Thank you.
We call them snow days. Unexpected arrival of free time.
Yeah.
One other thing about gratitude, obviously it gets you to focus, as Gayle said, on those things you have, but it also, the letter creates a social connection. It keeps you connected on the right level with people who are around you and in your life.
And this is something we, again, forget. One of the main things that distinguishes happy people from not so happy people is that happy people take time for social connection. They're just physically with other people. They try to make connections with the people on the street, and they take time for the people they care about. You know, often when we're trying to prioritize all this stuff we want to do in the new year, we overschedule, but we don't include the people we care most about. You know, they come last. Happy people don't do that. And to mimic happy people, just, you know, make time for the people you care about.
What role is social media playing in our happiness or lack of happiness?
Well, I think it relates to this point on social connections. Social media can be one of these things that we think is giving us social connection. You know, I'm scrolling my Instagram feed and I'm seeing what folks wore last night. It feels like I'm connecting, but it's a kind of empty calories sort of connection. And that's where one of the reasons I think our young people feel so lonely. You know, over 50% of college students report feeling lonely most of the time. And I think that's in part because they're getting their social connection through their phones, not physically in presence with other people.
So quick tips for happiness in 2019 in the new year.
Yeah, I think take gratitude seriously. You know, really take time once a month to scribble down that you're thankful for someone you really care about. Take your little white blocks in your calendar. Do it now for February, March. You'll be happy when those things come up. And just talk to a stranger on the bus. It'll boost your mood more than you expect.
Without them saying, what's wrong with you? But you're saying, yeah, reach out to strangers. Before you started teaching this class, were you a happy person?
You know, I'm not one one of those folks who's genetically predisposed to be happy, but now that I've taught the class, I have to practice what I preach. And my students ask me, like, who did you write your gratitude letter to? So, but as the research suggests, like, when you do the techniques, you end up boosting your mood. So
self-rewarding.
Exactly.
exactly.
Thank you, Professor Santos. Good to see you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.